this year.
First pitch swinging, line drive, he's done it. John Means has no hit the Mariners. They go! Brown fakes, dishes, Kyrie going for the 50-piece. Irving has 50!
Pressure from the Steelers. Mayfield in trouble, and he's going to be taken down. Who else but T.J. Watt?
First downs on this drive. Heineke end zone, McLaurin touchdown.
Torres drives that ball center field, hit deep, going back near the wall. Wilkerson maybe, nope, goodbye home run. Get him out of there. Don't throw to him.
I never seen anything like
Put
it.
up four fingers.
I've never seen anything like it.
He is just tearing the Orioles apart.
Jonathan Taylor, goodbye, touchdown, Indy, as he crossed the tape at the goal line. 78 yards.
And here we go.
All right, and we're back for another episode of the Sports Prime Podcast with Justin Valentovic, Stephen Bologna, and Stephen Clark. And we're here to talk some baseball off-season, mainly because the NFL news cycle has been absolutely insane. There was still another big trade today that saw Tyreek Hill going to the Dolphins. We're not talking football, we're talking some baseball, as we're just around 2 weeks or so away from opening day. So here we are. Let's recap all of the free agent moves that were made in the last week or so, new names and new places. So before we get into all of that, guys, what's going on?
Clark, we're talking baseball with OJ Val here. Talking baseball with OJ Val. Oh man, what a time to be alive. Nothing. The baseball season is officially here. I know Justin is already in midseason form talking shit between Orioles Yankees, while the Orioles are getting absolutely clapped by the Yankees as we speak.
I'll quote Steve Bologna from when we were on Xbox the other day. It's spring training. Doesn't matter. It's spring training. Doesn't matter. It's spring training.
Listen, man.
He did say that the other night.
If you want to dish it to me, I'll have to dish it back.
Hey, man, Gleyber Torres got struck out by a minor leaguer.
He also hit a home run.
Off of a major leaguer who sucks. So there's a difference. But we're not talking about that game right now because it's spring training. Let's talk about the free agency moves, which saw a bunch of players: Carlos Correa, Trevor Story, Freddy Freeman, Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Chris Bryant, Castellanos, and a few other names all going to their new places. So first things first, let's talk about the old Yanks. So they made a move. They traded.
Justin loves the Yankees.
Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela out to Minnesota for Josh Donaldson, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and Ben Rortvedt, however you want to pronounce that name. Exactly. And they took on Josh Donaldson's $50 million remaining on his contract, which paved the way for the Twins to go out and sign Carlos Correa for a 3-year deal, which he could very well opt out of because he has opt out after every single year. So who knows how long he actually plays in Minnesota. But initially for the Yankees, they got a new shortstop, third baseman, and a catcher.
Yeah. Kind of not the way I thought they were going to go, but it is. Let's not forget, too, they also dumped Luke Voigt after this.
And brought back Anthony Rizzo for 2 years. So
yeah,
they're running the team back, basically.
Basically, I like the Donaldson move. I think he still does have something left if he could stay healthy. Of course, played really solid last year when healthy. IKF,
he's a good glove.
He's your stopgap shortstop. If he can get some hits, it's funny enough. Last season he actually had more hits than like every Yankee except like Aaron Judge. So like the narrative that he can't hit, I don't know if that's exactly true.
He just can't hit for frequent power. Like he can put a ball into the fence, over the fence, but he can hit gap to gap, and he is a little bit quicker. But he's a good glove. So, like you said, he's a stopgap because they held on to all three of their major shortstop prospects and didn't go out and get Matt Olson. He's in Atlanta now.
Yep.
So they're running with Volpe, Cabrera, Peraza, all of them.
I mean, hopefully at least one of them works out. I would have liked to see them go for some pitching. Obviously they didn't. I guess the analytics say they feel confident in what they have. Don't know if that's how it's true. Listen, the moves, do I think the Yankees got better? Yeah, by much, not really. And it doesn't, like Aaron Boone says, it doesn't close the gap. Like it has not closed the gap. Tampa Bay got maybe a little bit worse, but they're no matter what going to be good. Boston got better with Trevor Story. Blue Jays got a hell of a lot better. It's just going to be a fight for the second wild card spot at this point.
I straight up think the Twins finessed you guys straight up in general. I mean, they dumped that contract of Donaldson to you guys, and then they signed the shortstop that you guys have been wanting. Basically, without that Donaldson move, they can't really get Correa. So they kind of, dump their crap to you and then assign the guy you also wanted. So it was a double finesse. But I mean, I agree. I think, with Donaldson, though, as expensive as he is, if he's productive, he's fine to have on your team. The age is a little bit of a concern, but I mean, it's worth a shot at least. And we talked about IKF a little bit, and you never know what comes out of that too.
Well, and Donaldson last year, I think he hit around 25 home runs and played, 130 games or so, but he is getting up there in age. So health is definitely the main concern. At least if he does go down, you do have DJ to move around. But like you said, the big thing is pitching for the Yankees, as they really have done nothing for either bullpen and especially starting rotation. Now, obviously,
what is it?
Who's your number 2 pitcher?
Tyone.
Oh,
he's not that bad. Don't
blown up the other day.
It's spring training.
Thank you.
I'll defend Steve. I'll defend Steve on that one. But the big names now are Chaman and Frankie Montas out of Oakland, because everyone else has been traded out of there. But
they're not going anywhere.
Everyone else seems to be in on those 2 guys, and they haven't been moved quite yet. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do it there. But definitely a disappointing offseason so far for the old Yanks.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole thing with Correa to the Twins, I mean, I don't know what the hell the Twins are doing.
They're going for it, but not really.
They blew it up, and then now they're going for it again.
That's the thing. It's like they traded Garver to the Rangers for Calefa, who then they turned around and flipped to the Yankees.
Yeah, to the Yankees.
So it's like, okay, they went from, let's sell off some pieces to let's go for it still, because they still have Kepler, they still have Buxton, Kirilloff in the outfield, and then I don't know who's playing first, but then you have Correa, Gio, and Polanco, and now Gary DH catching. So it's a productive team, and they went out and they also traded for Sonny Gray. Just remember that too. So they're hell bent on building a rotation and going for it, but also they're not connected long term, at least to most of these guys. So if they wanted to, they could dump them too. So they just put themselves in a weird spot.
They must have known something that they were going to get a shortstop by dumping IKF. Because when you do that, it's like, okay, well, we guarantee you that we're getting either Story or Correa.
Probably exactly that. Yeah, those 2. I mean, they had the money for it since the whole dump off to you guys.
Also, Correa signed at like 2 a.m. our time, East Coast time. And his deal, he could opt out after this year. And it makes sense where it's like, if he wants his long-term deal, because he's getting 35 now, but if he wants, say, 10 years for $35 million, he could opt out and get paid. If he sucks or gets hurt, he can just stay in that contract. So he put himself in a very good place as well. But it's just a weird team for him to go to. It's kind of like when Cano went to the Mariners. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. He's out there. Like we'll remember Correa is there, but also it's like, why the hell there?
Well, and also if you're the Yankees, it's like, I understand the whole, we took on the money from the Twins for them to sign Correa. Yankees made a decision that they didn't want Correa at one point. And I mean, I know there's all this reported interest that they were linked to him for so long, but if they didn't want him, I'll take a Gold Glove shortstop, and I'll take a Gold Glove third baseman who has capability to hit 35 home runs for me if he stays on the field. If maybe they got wind that Correa was never going to come to the Yankees. I know there was beef there for many years. So I don't know. I like the moves the Yankees made, but it's not going to put them over the edge.
It doesn't put them over exactly. Mm-hmm. And a move that helps a team in the East stay, ahead of the Yankees a little bit is the Boston Red Sox. They signed Trevor Story, who right now it looks like to be their second baseman. So
I like him at second. That's cool. I mean, that's fun. You got to leave the lineup the way it was before. Third place team at best, Boston. I mean,
it's their rotation and bullpen is the
bullpen is the killer. Yeah, I mean,
outside of Evaldi and Sale, really, they have Matt Barnes and nothing else. And last year Evaldi threw his best game probably against the Yankees in the wild card game. Yeah. And if this offense hits, they can put up a lot of runs, but it's also their pitching's going to give up a lot of runs if it's not Sale or Evaldi. And also this move sets him up a little bit post Bogarts because he can opt out after this season and Story signed for 6 years. So if he does opt out, they kind of go into a Dodgers scenario where Seager left and now Trey Turner's moving back over to shortstop from playing second base. So they can do that all over again.
They must have known that, like, because Story, who knows what his market was. It, came out that he would do the Correa move, 3 years with 2 opt-outs. And then Boston signed him for 6 years. So I feel like they might be getting wind that Bogarts might be opting out and wants a new contract. Who knows?
They're protecting themselves, at least, that they have something.
Boston, like you said, the pitching staff, they lost Eduardo Rodriguez, who was their ace for like the past 2 years with Sale out. He went to the Tigers. So it's going to be a battle for third place between them and the Yanks. Maybe they'll surprise some people. They got Jackie Bradley Jr. back, which is kind of funny.
Who they traded Renfroe for, basically, which is Boston's just doing some weird moves.
Yeah. Plain and simple.
So another move that we didn't really necessarily see coming, but we kind of saw towards the end of it was Freddie Freeman leaving the Atlanta Braves unceremoniously. And basically it all came ahead to when they traded for Matt Olson from the Athletics. And then it came down to, okay, where's Freddie going? It was Dodgers and the Yankees, and I think a few other teams were interested in him, like Tampa Bay, Toronto, basically except the Orioles at that point. And he ended up going out west to his home state of California, making this lineup even more impressively awesome.
Deadly.
Yeah. Yep. Like you said, Steve, he doesn't go to the AL East at all, but he stays in the National League. He's playing first base now for the Dodgers. Big money deal for Freddie, and he gets paid, and he's going to retire out in sunny California.
Yeah, I mean, I hate, I'm a Metsy guy. I don't like the Braves, but Freddie Freeman is just, you can't dislike Freddie Freeman. And the way he went out in Atlanta, it was just sad to me because, I feel like they disrespected him because seeing the trade and not really consulting with him or anything, and just, seeing that happen.
I saw a report too that he said they literally only called him twice, after the season, and then when they made a formal offer, and then that was it.
Ridiculous.
Yep.
And it's I get what they did when they traded for then Matt Olson and extended him. You're getting a very similar player, much younger, same amount of time you would have to have him under contract for, and for less money. So coinciding with that move for Matt Olson, it makes sense on the Brave side. How they handled literally
horrible
a Mount Rushmore player in Braves franchise history, which is up there with Chipper Jones and Hank Aaron. To just kind of unceremoniously dump him, let him go. I get it. You won a World Series with him. So, you closed the deal, you finished the job with him, but he's literally your guy. How do you not pay him and keep him in house?
Or just communicate with him.
Yes.
That's all they had to do. I mean,
at least when the Nationals made an offer to Rendon, it's look, this is the best we can do. You won us a World Series and good luck, at this point, but they didn't even try. They really didn't try to keep Freddie.
No.
Nope. And for the Dodgers, they've had a lot of trouble finding a first baseman for the past few years, and they finally get their they were rolling out Will Beatty in in the World Series, basically. So, or not the NLCS. So good for them to actually finding the lineup, and they don't just care. They don't care about the luxury tax. That's why salary cap and stuff. It just doesn't matter in the MLB. No one cares.
No, the luxury tax doesn't matter. They literally put in the new luxury tax rule for Cohen and the Dodgers because they would blow through it anyway, and they did, and who cares? But on the coinciding move, Braves got Matt Olson, so they're still going to compete. They're still going to try in the NL East, and they have another power hitting, great defensive first baseman.
New Matt Killer.
Man.
One
They're
Matt
just
Killer
getting
leaves,
younger. They're getting younger.
Yep.
So the other side of the Mats who got sold and sold and traded away in Atlanta was Matt Chapman, and a team who came out of nowhere and scooped him up was the old Toronto Blue Jays north of the border. So he is now in the AL East along with their signing of Yusuke Kikuchi. So they get another pitcher for the rotation, and they get probably the best defensive third baseman to pair along Bo Bichette on the left side of the infield. So offensively, obviously Chapman is boom or bust. He has a lot of pop, but when he can produce, he is an awesome hitter.
Good move for them. They just keep loading up. They don't care. And, they lost Semien. So now I assume they just slide Kevin Biggio back to second, play Chap at third. And Guerrero's too not unathletic to play third base anymore. So he'll be a good first baseman. And they signed Kikuchi, like you said. They already have Robbie Ray, or not Robbie Ray, Gausman.
And Hyun-Jin Ryu and Alex Manoah. Like, this is a very good
and Berrios too. Oh my God.
Yep.
They're going to be pushing for first place here.
Yeah, they're the most complete team in the American League for sure.
Right now, it's just their bullpen, I think, needs some help on the back end.
I could always work on that during the season.
No,
too.
I know. You can make trades,
nuts.
Knowing them, they'll probably go out and get like a Josh Hader because that seems like a type of move they would make.
Oh, that'd be filthy.
And then, you look at their outfield, you already have Teoscar Hernandez, who's Springer. Grichuk is a great rotational guy.
And Lourdes Gurriel.
Yeah.
God. This could be a sneaky World Series team.
I 100% think so, too.
If they get hot at the right time, they can be really unstoppable.
And the thing with them, too, is age. With this team,
they're all young.
They're young.
Outside of Springer, they're all under cheap deals, basically.
But Springer signed that was like a 6-year deal, right?
Yeah, and we're in year 2, I think of it. So, but even then, Lourdes Gurriel, Bichette, Biggio, Vlad, Jansen, all of that, and they just paid Chapman, 2 years. They bought out the rest of his contract for only, $14 million a year. They're a very cheap team, so they could go out and get big names and take on pretty inflated contracts for back end relievers as well, and not spend too much money and be a competitive team even then. And I think when we get into a predictions pod, we'll kind of all agree that these will be the front runner probably for the East at this point.
And Blue Jays, their second highest odds to win it all.
That's insane.
Wow. They're tied with the Yankees, I guess, at plus 900. But
the AL or to win the division?
To win the World Series.
Oh, really?
So they jumped up. And then plus 30,000, we at the bottom, the O's.
With their loan. It's amazing too. The Orioles have a $30 million payroll. The Dodgers have a $290 million or $270 million payroll. They literally have 9 times as much as we do, which is just there's an issue in baseball. You need a floor for a salary cap, but they didn't do that at all in the CBA. So here we are with the Orioles not spending any money.
Get a richer owner.
Yeah, or an owner that gives a shit is basically what it comes down to. So talking about a team that doesn't really spend money and teams that really don't give a shit, but this was probably the biggest what the fuck signing of the offseason. We kind of get one of these every once in a while, and that is Chris Bryant deciding to go to the Colorado Rockies.
Thought it was going to be a Met.
I thought so too. But this was just Bryant securing money for the future for himself. That's all this was. He won his ring. He got his whole parade. He had all that. This is just him securing a contract.
Riding out his days to a Hall of Fame career, probably, because he can probably put up some inflated numbers in cores at this point.
This is awesome for the Colorado fans.
They at least get something to root behind.
Chris Bryant's on the team. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's Chris Bryant and then Ryan McMahon and old ass Charlie Blackmon.
Yeah, torn hamstring Charlie Blackmon, baby.
And that's basically it.
Hey, Kyle Freeland. Don't sleep.
Oh, isn't that your Cy Young candidate? It was in the AA major minors because he got blown up. Yeah, he's a Rocky.
Yeah,
no one saw this coming. Don't understand it. Can't explain it. Let's move on. So, another team that's spending some money, getting some big boppers in the lineup and some power. That is the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah,
and they got Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber. So 2 big bats for a very hitter-friendly ballpark. I don't think they'll really compete too much for the East because I think they're whatever. But they get some nice protection to put around Bryce Harper.
Great offensive team they have here.
Horrible defensive team and poor pitching team.
5 hours a game.
It's showing in spring training already.
Too. Yeah, I know. I saw the highlights from that. It's great moves for them on the offensive side. I think you need those power bats, a couple of one righty lefty. Schwarber, I think he's had a great year last year. I do think he takes a little step back this year. He's not going to have that great run he had last year. And Castellanos, that outfield is fun, a lot of fun, a lot of power in that outfield, and
a lot of no defensive.
A lot of no defense in that outfield as well.
Odubel Herrera, Bryce Harper, and Nick Castellanos.
And the memes are going to stay with Castellanos and Philly now.
I mean,
he's
if Bohm could figure it out, that'd be huge for them. Didi's solid, but he's a really bad defender.
Reese is cool. I'm a big Reese guy.
Really bad defender.
Raul Muto's pretty good though.
He's their best defender. Is your catcher?
100%. Yeah,
that is a problem.
They still have Nola and Wheeler too. Like, that's pretty good.
Wheeler's had a great season last year too.
They have good pitchers, but it's just like it's the Phillies. When have they actually put it together other than 2009? Their bullpen sucks, which has been their problem for 4 years now.
They signed Familia, baby.
Oh, he'll be their garbage time pitcher basically. That's all he was with the Mets. And
Hector Neris.
He's our closer for the longest time.
Oh God. Oh, the days. Those
days of the Wilpons.
Yeah. So speaking
Best
of the
owners.
old Mets, when we were out going to go see the Batman, they made a trade and they got Chris Bassett for their rotation. So they firmed up their rotation with 5 legitimate aces, basically, on any other team.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
they got to pony up now. Got to pay him.
I know. Got to go through the whole arbitration crap with him. Stupid. He's the only one. A new guy we traded for. The most recent guy we got is the one. Not McNeil, not Diaz or Alonso or any of them. This guy. But no, that solidifies their rotation. That starting rotation's fine. Bullpen still scares me. But you can probably throw one of the younger guys like McGill or Peterson. Yeah, exactly, in the bullpen. Bullpen still scares me. Starting pitching, one of the best rotations in baseball, I would say.
I think it is the best rotation in all of baseball.
Yeah.
Because you have DeGrom, Scherzer, Carrasco, Walker, and Bassett.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I mean, now we forgot to say, Justin,
what?
Unvaccinated players can play.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Jake and Judge can play, baby.
Ooh, 7-1, Justin. Final score, Yanks O's.
That's preseason.
No, it's that's so huge though that unvaccinated players can now play at home games.
Because a Judge can play he never said he wasn't vaccinated or unvaccinated, but the way he was defending it.
Still can't play in Canada.
I'm pretty sure DeGrom's not vaccinated. I'm pretty sure Alonso's not vaccinated. So a lot of the top stars in
the Mets were worse off than the Yankees.
Less than 50% last year. Yeah.
That's brutal.
So yeah, I know Lindor said he is, which is cool if he wants to show up and actually play. But this is great news. It's great news. Great news for basketball with Kyrie. I know our little buddy Jesse is happy about that.
Our little buddy.
But yeah, no, Steve, that's a good point. That's huge. Yep. That's very huge.
Indeed, it is. So we got 2 more moves to talk about team-wise, and that's the Giants got Carlos Rodon for a pretty sizable deal. Don't know what they're trying to do, of compete or not at the same time. They just will not and refuse to.
Right now.
They refuse to embrace a rebuild, it seems. Like they are just going to keep draining every life force imaginable and trying to win, which I give them credit to, but also at some point, you got to just sell things off and restart. You can't keep running out. Brandon Crawford and company.
Brandon Belt.
Evan Longoria. That's an old ass team. Yep. Good for them. They get another rotation arm. And then finally, the Mariners traded for Eugenio Suarez and Jesse Winker. So they get a third base and an outfielder who's absolutely going to spray the outfield wall with home runs for them. So the Reds are selling off a lot of players similar to the A's. They gave up. They went for it for 2 years and said, screw it, we're done. And we are resetting.
Mariners, they're gearing up here for a good division race with the Astros getting worse.
I think they make a push for that wild card spot, especially that extra one now being added in there. I think, they have a shot to squeeze in that last one, I think.
And the curse. They got to make it.
Since 2001.
Mitch Haniger loves chaos.
Good move for the Mariners though. So
yeah, it is.
We have 2 little pieces of news here, and that's the MLB. They're changing some rules up again, and we have the ghost runner in extra innings. That's back. So that's mainly because they're saying pitchers won't be stretched out too much because of the shortened spring training, because of the lockout. So it's only for this year, which that's what they said for the COVID year, but it came back. So how do we feel about that?
We've had to talk about this before. And
Oh,
I like what we came to a agreement on, like 12th inning and on, put the ghost runner. Like not right away. Like, because if the game goes like another 3 innings, you want that thing to end. Put the ghost runner on. But like the ghost runner is so stupid because you can just be like sacrifice fly.
Yeah.
And literally like a bloop or just 2 sacrifice flies, honestly. And you're home. Yeah. It starts on second.
Yep.
So like it's luck. It's luck of the draw. It's not as lucky as the coin toss in overtime in football, but
yeah,
it's still a little bit of luck is involved with that. I don't like it. I'll put it like that.
Yeah. Like you said, Justin, it was supposed to be just for this. They're like, oh, we got all these rule changes taking effect 2023.
Yeah, and then they just said,
okay, then
let's throw this one in here.
Push back the DH too.
Oh no.
At least we have that. That's
good. Fuck Nelson Cruz with the Nationals.
Oh
yeah, what a weird team. Yeah. Like
he's just gonna keep hitting, bro. At this point, he's fine.
Him and Juan Soto.
Oh,
that's all I got.
So, and then another rule is the Shohei Ohtani rule. And that is, I don't know if you guys heard about this. In past years, when he would come out of the game and he would hit and pitch, the Angels would forego the DH. So they would then have to be effectively a National League team and, do pinch hitters, all that fun stuff. And now when he plays and pitches, he can, and not him specifically, but any pitcher now who wants to hit at the same time, they can be listed as the DH and the starting pitcher. So when he gets pulled from the game, he can stay in the game as the DH and they do not lose it.
That's hot.
Nice.
That's hot. I like this.
Grom, baby.
No, he's not swinging another batted day in his life, and I'm okay with that.
For baseball, sake. This is a very good marketing tool for baseball because remember when he pitched for the Angels against the Yankees, he got blown up in the first inning and didn't really even bat at that point, and everyone wanted to see him, and they didn't. At least now they can still see him once he gets pulled. So good.
Yeah, like it's a nice rule.
And it's a matter of if we even see two-way players ever again. Who knows if it's just for him? That's cool at the same time. But look at baseball actually doing something smart and progressive for once.
Yeah, man.
Nickelodeon wildcard game up next.
Yeah.
Disney Channel.
Disney Channel. Yeah.
A little piece of drama is that the Yankees and Aaron Judge seem to be on a little bit of an impasse on a contract extension. He wanted $21 million in arbitration. They offered 17. So now it's going to the arbitrator. And apparently at some point today, when we are recording this, the March 23rd, they're supposed to be making him a contract offer. And it seems like he said too, once it gets to opening day, he doesn't want to talk about contract throughout the year. So time is a ticking for an Aaron Judge contract extension, it seems.
It is, but it does seem that both sides are motivated to get a deal done. Obviously, it sort of seems like Aaron Judge is going to come out and say, I don't want to play here anymore after this year. But
it's actually the opposite. He's even said he wanted to be like a Yankee for life at that point. It's just a matter of they have to find the right ballpark number.
Well, yeah,
his thing is health.
7 for 2, maybe I'd be fine with 7 for 200. I don't know if that's just under.
That would be 7 for 210 would be 30. So 7 for 200 would be probably like your 26 range, 27 range, give or take.
He deserves to be paid as a top player in the league. That's fair.
So you're giving him 40?
Yeah.
That's like top pay now, which is insane.
For my Chris Davis.
No, I think they'll get to it. He's not going to hit free agency. I think they'll figure it out, but it's definitely a little bit of not ease in Yankee land, considering of the offseason you had with them not really going out and spending too much money. So I could see where the worry comes in, where it's like, are they not going to pay this guy now, who's been probably the most consistent and productive Yankee since he's come up?
Yep. We had this similar drama a few years ago with DeGrom and the Mets. Remember what he re-signed, and then they were able to get a deal done.
But the Yankees also didn't go and hire. Yeah, the Yankees also didn't go and hire Judge's agent at this point, which I think it's Scott Boras. Which don't do that.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
But also for Judge, this is his last and really only opportunity to get paid because he came up a little bit older. He's close to 30, I think, at this point.
I think he's 28.
Yeah, so really 7 years of putting him at 35, and then his career's almost done at that point. So he definitely wants to get paid, and the Yankees don't want to pay him too much because who knows how long till he starts breaking down even more. So last bit on the offseason is who was the biggest loser of the offseason so far?
A's?
Yeah, has to be them. They haven't spent any money, and they've absolutely gutted their team entirely.
Yeah, they didn't bring in a single free agent.
Yeah, they've literally spent zero money. The Orioles at least spent $7.5 million on crap, but they at least spent they literally spent a fifth of their entire payroll.
Roogie dropped the pop up tonight.
Hey, that's why he's an Oriole.
Roogie, come on.
Yeah, so they're definitely the biggest loser for me, as well with Clark, and I assume Bologna, you agree?
Yeah, they.
What about contending teams? Are the biggest loser? I hate to say it, but
probably the Yankees.
Probably the Yankees.
They just had a lackluster offseason.
What did St. Louis do though? Like
they signed Steven Matz.
That's pre-freaking lockout.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I don't think they did anything. Like
I love how Steve pulled a random contending team out of his ass to deflect off the Yankees, basically.
Okay, well, we talked about the Yankees for the first 20 minutes.
We did talk a lot about the Yankees.
That is true. I think for the biggest winner, it's got to be the Dodgers. They went out and got the best first baseman on the market, and
Blue Jays,
Dodgers, Blue Jays, Rangers,
and a team with blue.
Mets.
Mariners too, kind of.
They're up there.
A lot of teams have good off seasons.
Yeah.
So that is the off season for the MLB. We finally got here after a 99-day lockout, 2 free agency periods, and a shortened spring training. Opening day is just around the corner. We'll be doing next week a divisions preview pod. We're just going to lump them all together in one. We're not doing division by division. We're going to try and get through that as quick as humanly possible. So that'll probably be right around an hour or so. I'm not doing.
We don't have our small little friend with us, so this should go a little quicker.
Yeah. So when that comes out, Clark, where can people listen and watch it?
Yeah, the YouTube, the Apple Podcast, the Spotify. Follow, like, subscribe on there. Follow our social medias on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at SportsDepthPod, at SportsDEPTPod. Next week also we're gonna do some Mania pod skis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's next weekend. So we gotta do a day 1, a day 2, and more than likely an NXT one as well. So
wrestling season, baby.
Yep, that stretch of wrestling pods is back.
Gonna dominate the week, basically.
Yeah.
Clark's so excited for it. It's his Super Bowl.
Oh, it's a lot. It's too much.
Hopefully a mock draft soon too. Still waiting on our little friend.
He's a hard worker.
Yeah.
Boston's.
And gambler.
Yeah, makes more doing that than actually working. But stay tuned to all that fun stuff, and we'll see you in the next episode.